Hi and welcome to the team guide for Sarpsborg. Very interesting side who had a great run in the Europa League a couple of years ago. Caught the eye. Last year was a struggle though. They only just survived relegation by the skin of their teeth. So let's just find a little bit more about them. Like I say, 12th last season. I'm going to put them 12th again this year. It is interesting that their key rival is Fredrikstad, who are in like three divisions below them now. A big historical rivalry there. Fredrikstad, big club. Hopefully one day the two will meet in the top division again. Sarpsborg Stadium, it's probably bigger than it looks in terms of capacity. You can get a decent atmosphere there actually. The crowd are right on top of you. They've got a new manager, Mikael Stauder, who has been around the block a bit. I think he was at Häcken in Sweden. He had a horrible spell at San Jose Earthquakes where he could hardly win a game. But he's back here and it looks like he's going to try a new system, a 3-4-3 system. More on that in a minute. Sarpsborg got this a nice little shirt, sort of Brighton and Hove Albion sort of thing. And you may wonder where Sarpsborg is. It's very much near the Swedish border, not too far from the Swedish border, to the south-east of Oslo there. And the temperature, the climate can be a bit warmer here than other parts of Norway, certainly compared to the places up north. So I say much further south than quite a lot of teams. The fixtures for Sarpsborg, there's some favourable ones for sure. Vålerenga at home is not the easiest start, but they've got Mjøndalen on the list and Sandefjord on the list in the first six. And you could say Strømsgodset at home is not the worst game, but there's a couple of stinkers as well. Bodø/Glimt away is never easy. Brann at home, I don't think that's very easy either. And let's be honest, that first fixture against Vålerenga isn't a gimme by any means. So it's a mixed bag of fixtures for Sarpsborg, and I think they're quite a difficult side to predict in many ways, in terms of position and everything, but also in terms of fantasy. But it looks like this sort of 3-4-3 system, which is very unusual. There's not much, nothing like it really in the league going around, apart from maybe Aalesund are sort of similar. So in terms of fantasy, Mithoff Nielsen's going to be the starting goalkeeper. Perhaps 5.5. He could be a little bit overpriced, but who knows there. I mean, you got 3-4-3. You got wing backs. Thomason scored quite well last year. He's going to be maybe bombing forward a little bit sometimes, so he could be worth looking at. Bojang is a really interesting player at 4.5 million. I mean, if he's going to get forward, he could be a cheap price. I know he's been mentioned by a few people. I'm certainly not the first to make him stand out, but looks like he's going to keep his spot there at the minute, and that could be a cheap option. If you're looking for a defender who maybe contribute offensively, he could be one at a cheap price. And the three centre-backs, Ødegaard, Ness and Utvik, I mean, I would be going for probably Ness and Ødegaard, not the worst options. Nikolai Ness especially can be dangerous at set pieces. Going forward, the big story is about Jørgen Strand Larsen. I mean, this time last year, everyone was going to get him in the team because he had a fantastic pre-season, scored tons of goals, and it didn't materialise. It was a cheap price last year, and he's a relatively cheap price this year as well for a striker. That could look insanely cheap. He could be this year's Turgil Berven, where the goals keep flowing, but at the same time he could flop again. I'll let you decide on Strand Larsen. I'm not sure about him yet. I want to see how he fares at the start of the season. A couple of interesting sides. I think Halvorsen could potentially supply quite a few assists there on the right wing, and Mohamed Ofkir could be a 6.5 bit of value. I mean, there's going to be competition for places there. There's going to be rotation around as well. There's a few other players that you could keep your eye out for. Ismail Koulibaly at 6 million is a young talent, definitely worth considering there. But they've got some interesting players in midfield. New player is Salatros at 5 million on loan from a Russian club Rostov. Don't quite know how offensively he's going to be. These central midfielders don't always get the points they deserve, do they? Because they just don't score enough goals or get enough assists. Linseth at 6 million actually did score fairly well last year. Did Jonathan Linseth. Again though, you're going to get the goals from that centre mid. So Sarpsborg are a tough side to predict. I think they've got potential here. Keep your eye on them. They've got a couple of soft fixtures, but they are away from home against Mjøndalen and Sandefjord. So look, they're a team to keep an eye out. They've got an interesting sort of system, and let's see how it works out for them. But anyway, that's going to be it for this preview. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. as usual, we greatly appreciate if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and be really generous there. We'll see you again next time for another team preview. Thanks very much.